us or?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, great. Okay, well, we'll get started since it's 5 o'clock and we've got some folks in the studio and here online. So welcome to Bariatric Yoga. I'm Tracy and I love practicing yoga. So if you're joining here with us in the studio or if you're online, welcome. And we're going to practice today. And that's what I love about yoga is that it's just a practice. So whether this is your first time or your millionth time practicing yoga, just begin to settle in to wherever you are, whether you're in a chair or on a mat. We're going to stay seated on the floor, or if you're in a chair, the entire 45 minutes. I'm so excited that I don't need to get back up. So find an easy seat, and I meant to start some calming music before we began. So as you're finding your easy seat, remember that an easy seat looks different for everyone. So that's the other thing I love about yoga is that there's no real right or wrong way about it. We just kind of fall into it. So this crisscross applesauce might be good for you. You can have your legs out. This is deer legs, which is not good for me at all. So whatever's comfortable for you. And just begin to settle in. And if you're comfortable doing so, we'll start by just closing off the eyes and focusing in on the breath. This might be the first intentional breath that you've taken all day, even though the best thing about the breath is that it's involuntary and voluntary. So as we begin to take some breath in through the nose, sealing off the lips, and just in and out. I was practicing some breath work yesterday and decided just to let it be today, my breath. So no counting, just the art of allowing the breath and the noticing of it. So breathing in, just maybe even saying something to self like, I'm breathing in. And on your exhale, I'm breathing out. Something to connect the thought, the mind to the breath, which then brings us to the body as we settle into this space here and now. I would normally invite sense of smell and have an offering, but I forgot it and left it. So if you're at home, take a big deep breath in and just smell whatever it is that's around you. And here in the studio, just big breath in, just smelling whatever it is that's around. And as you begin to pay attention to the breath, on the intake, allow the breath to send the crown of the head high to the sky, the spine to lengthen on the inhale breath, and the exhale breath, almost the opposite, just not letting go of the lengthening, but at the same time, just sinking into gravity, deepening into your seat, allowing the shoulders to fall away from the ears, letting go of any tension that you might be holding on to. On the in-breath, feeling the chest, the heart space expand, lifting the chin up. And on the exhale breaths, just letting everything go. If you begin to notice the mind sort of running away with itself because the body is seated, not going with the mind, just gently returning to the breath, not judging the fact that you're thinking of other things, just noticing that that happened and coming back to, oh, I'm breathing in. Oh, and I'm breathing out, and maybe even smiling on the out breath. Yogis, the breath, your best friend. It goes everywhere you go. It gives you life. It takes care of you while you sleep. It never leaves you until the very end. Just paying attention and using this space now to grab a hold of a mantra, a satnam, for the rest of our practice. An I am statement. One of my other favorite things about yoga is that it doesn't have to even be true. It can be something you're striving for. We like to keep it in the positive. It can be as simple as I am, period. Just I am. Or maybe you want to tack something else on. I am strong. I am happy. I am vibrant. I am life. You come up with your own. And on your in-breath, maybe it's I am. And on the exhale, whatever you are. Begin some movement with that breath. On the inhale breath, just extending the arms long, tickling the mat, the earth. And on the exhale, really deepening those sits bones into the mat, into the earth. And on your next incoming breath, send your hands east and west, long and then high to the sky, bringing the palms to touch at the top. And on the exhale breath, just let them float gently down to your sides. We're going to do that again. You can do it at your own pace. We're going to do 3 rounds. Just inhale breath, rising the hands up high to the sky. I am. And on your exhale breath, just floating the hands back down to the earth. Inhale, go tall with the spine. Filling up that heart space. On the exhale breath, floating the hands back down. Resting here for just a moment. 1 round of breath. Exhaling out anything you're holding on to. And now our Ardha Hastasana, our upward salute, arms reach out east and west, taking them up, palms to touch at the top. And now a twist, twisting open to the right or left. It doesn't matter, yogis. We're going to do both sides, floating the arms down And the palm or the hand can grab a hold of the knee for a little extra support if that feels good. If it's too much of a twist, then just let go of the knee, twisting open only as much as you're comfortable. Holding here for a few rounds of breath. Using that in-breath to grow tall. And the exhale breath is always, always an invitation to deepen the stretch. Use an in-breath to come back up high to the sky to a neutral position. And an exhale breath to open up on a twist to the other side. Beautiful. Few rounds of breath. Come to your Satnam, your I am statement. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, deepen into the stretch, just 1%. The stretch is in the spine. Don't hold on to anything in the waist or in the thighs. Let that go. Inhale up high to the sky, returning to a central neutral position. And exhale, gently let the arms come back down to the sides. Beautiful. And gently placing the palms on your knees for some cat-cows. Really getting some movement in the spine here, just moving the spinal fluid all around. On an inhale breath, we're going to push the chest out. Lift the chin high to the sky. Can use the knee and the hands as a push and a pull. And on the exhale breath, we're going to push everything out. Tuck the belly button into the spine and really round it out. Take the chin into the chest, rounding the shoulders out. And then on the in-breath, filling the body up, filling in all that space, taking the chest and heart high to the sky. And then blowing everything out, rounding it all. Belly button tucks in, chin tucks in, shoulders round out. Move with your own breath. You don't need me to cue this. Just have it feel good in your body. And then, yogi, get organic with it. Just begin to sort of move around. I know that's feeling good for me. Do what feels good for you. So using the knees and the hands as a stationary position to just sort of flow with it. Moving all around. You can even release the hands and put them down to the ground if that's feeling yummy. I love watching other people get yummy with it. Just maybe moving the neck around a little. Super calm class. If you're rolling your neck, if you go one direction, go the other. And when you're ready, take your time. We're going to make our way to our backs in a supine position. No hurry. Take your sweet time. Just rolling down to your back. One vertebra at a time if you can't. Not however you get there is exactly how you arrive. We're going to plant both the soles of our feet and the palms of our hands onto the ground. If you happen to have a block handy, we're headed to waterfall, which is both feet up high to the sky. If you are interested in a supported waterfall, you can place a block up underneath, lifting up the hips, up underneath the hips for a little extra rise in your waterfall. But we're just taking both feet up high to the sky. In a traditional waterfall, the feet are flexed. But if you're not a traditional person, there's really no need to start now. So if you are fine with a pointed toe, whatever feels good, that's what I'm about right now. So have your feet feeling good for you. The purpose behind this asana, this pose in yoga, is to confuse the mind and the heart. The heart begins to pump differently, to beat a little different beat, because it's a little confused about the position of the feet. I rhymed a little bit, I think. So as if you stand a lot or sit, anyone, any human, this asana sends the blood flowing in a different direction. It gets rid of all the stagnant blood that hasn't been oxygenated. Is that a word? Hasn't been oxygenated yet, and sends it back to the heart. And then the heart sends some yummy blood down to the toes. You can't hold this position too long unless you're teaching a class and you need to move on. So we're going to stay here for just a few rounds of breath while I'm quiet and give you a second to just breathe. Feeling the chest cavity rise on the inhale and just completely collapse on the exhale. While at the same time, all the benefits to the physical body, also the benefits to the mind as you focus on being present in the moment. Whenever you're ready, gently bring the soles of the feet back down to the earth. If you have a block, gently remove the block. And you'll notice as you do that this natural curve in your spine keeps a little bit the bottom of the spine away from the earth. If you tuck your belly button into the spine, you can actually make complete contact with the earth and have all of the vertebrae, always confuse the two, but have the entire spine on the earth. So we're going to practice that for just a moment. It's called Uddiyana Bandha when it's an energy lock in the body when you tuck the belly button into the spine. It creates a beautiful energy lock that really can prevent all kinds of injuries. I'll save that for another speech. And then if you release that lock, you'll feel that natural curve automatically just return. So Uddiyana Bandha, and give yourself that energy lock. And then we're going to take to bridge pose. So gently taking the hips up to the sky and allowing the weight to shift to the shoulders, not to the neck, lengthening the shoulders out so that they're all on the mat. And take the hips only as high as you're comfortable. Don't hold your breath. Breathing in and out, and then lowering down whenever you're ready. And if you can, I think it's vertebra when it's one. So just trying to hit each vertebra. And if I'm wrong, someone can correct me at some point in life. But try to hit each one as you come down, until you get to the point where your natural curve returns. One round of breath, and then return to that energy lock, the Uddiyana Bandha. Lock the belly button into the spine, bringing the full spine to the mat, and then pushing up into bridge. Rolling onto the shoulders. Don't take the weight to the neck. And perhaps it's an in-breath for energy, sending oxygen to the body, and it's on an exhale that you lift perhaps maybe 1% higher. Perhaps feeling it in the thighs. And holding for maybe one extra round of breath. And then lowering back down whenever you're ready. And then one more, yogis, so make this one count. One round of breath to prepare. Maybe even check in with that Sat Nam. Uddiyana Bandha. And pushing up for bridge. Beautiful. And if you're up for the challenge, it's an in-breath to prepare, and on an exhale breath, lifting the hips just 1%, maybe 2% higher. Really opening up the hips here. A big hip opener. One more round of breath. Checking in with the shoulders. And then lowering back down slowly and with care. Excellent. Sending our attention now to our right leg. We're going to take it high to the sky with a pointed toe. And now an intentional flex. On an in-breath, a point. And on an exhale, a flex. Now we're going to begin to just gently pump at the knee. So a bending at the knee. If you have any issues with the knee, just continue with the point and flex of the foot. But this is great to just get the circulation going, a nice gentle yoga class, and also just great to move around. This is at your own pace. I can hear my knee popping. And I don't often move my leg in this fashion. So holding the knee sometimes can help with stability. Popping sounds are not always bad. Sometimes it's a cue to the mind, the brain, to send some lubrication. Just some gentle back and forth. And when you get tired of that, which happens for me before I probably do any good to the muscle, so maybe a few more pumps, we're gonna take the ankle, my right ankle, to my left knee. So whenever you're ready, because this isn't synchronized. So just beginning to rest the ankle on the knee. We're heading into supine pigeon. So I'm going to lift the left leg up so that the shin is parallel to the earth. And then I create this beautiful opening here, and I'm going to send my right hand through that opening. And I'm going to reach behind the left leg and interlace my fingers together. In some sports, it's called the figure 4 stretch, but in yoga, we like to keep it fancy. And supine pigeon is what we call it. So gently pulling in the left leg towards the body. That creates a big enough stretch on its own. I can also use my right elbow to push out on my right knee to further the stretch. And then yogis, if you really want to get froggy, you can do some ankle rotations simultaneously. Sometimes that can get confusing. Because if I rotate one way, I have to rotate the other. Focusing in on the breath is the most important thing. So don't hold your breath here in this stretch. Instead, send oxygen to the muscles that you're stretching. Let go of the tension in the muscles that you're not stretching. And on your exhale breath, use the opportunity to deepen the stretch. Then, when you're ready, unlace the fingertips, send the arms to a T or a cactus, and then straighten out the left leg. And take the sole of your right foot over the left leg for a twisted lizard. What? So the right sole of my foot is crossed over my body. And this is also a great opportunity. You can take the left hand and push, a little push and pull on the knee that's sticking up, which is the right one. Just holding here for a few rounds of breath for your twisted lizard.
Okay, we're back, I think. Yeah, sorry everybody. We had battery died on the laptop, so let's resume.
Technical difficulties are always so fun in yoga.
Oh, so fun.
So if you're still with us, that means awesome.
Yeah, they are.
You're either asleep or you left, and either way, it's great. So we were twisted up as a lizard, and then we're going to untwist, and we'll bring the right foot, the sole of that foot, back, and we're going to send the left foot high to the sky. And again, there's a point with the in-breath and a flex, an intentional flex on the out-breath. Inhale to point the toe. And a flex on the exhale. And then we're going to love on this leg a little bit. So some pumping here. And I always notice one leg feels a little different than the other. So just gently loving on the left leg, some gentle back and forth with the knee. You might find stability is necessary on one, not necessary on the other. But just moving this one around. Coming back to the in and out breath. My Satnam was, I am independent. So on the in breath, I am. And on my exhale, independent. The breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. So often, 99%, maybe even 99.9% of the time, my body is in one location and my mind is in another. The breath is the 0.1% that connects the two. So when you're ready to stop pumping, you can gently bring your ankle to the knee. This one's my left ankle to my right knee. And again, everything feels different. So whatever's comfortable for you. Perhaps you want to stay or find waterfall again. But we're headed to a supine pigeon or that figure 4 stretch. So lifting the right leg up so that the calf is parallel to the earth. And that beautiful space that gets created right here allows us to take our left hand, swing it through so that I can interlace the fingertips behind my right leg, right behind the knee. And that might be enough. Or I can gently pull the right leg in, pulling the right leg into the body. And I can use the elbow, my left elbow, to push out on the left knee for a deeper stretch. And yogis, again, an invitation to get super complicated. But if you're not a super complicated person, there's, again, no need to start now. But you can do some ankle rotations here if you'd like. That might feel good. I always encourage, if you head in one direction, always turn around and look back, go the other way. Just cover all your bases. Although it's always difficult for me to go one way, always. Always. Focusing on the breath. Letting go of any tension you're holding on to that is not part of the stretch. And focusing in on the breath. And then yogis, when you're ready, we're going to straighten our arms out to a T or a cactus, and the right leg will come straight as well. The left foot, the sole of the left foot is going to find a spot across the right leg for twisted lizard on this side. We might have lost the connection. I don't know if I said it, but in twisted lizard, we want to try to get the hips on the mat, on the earth. Not everyone's on a mat. So on the earth, while keeping the sole of the foot on the ground as well. And just focusing in on the breath. Allowing the in and out breath to flow effortlessly. And then when you're ready, send your left leg long to meet your right. And then bring both knees into the chest, wrapping your arms around your knees and just giving yourself a big hug. You can even crisscross at the ankles. And rolling around might feel good. Sometimes in yoga, we call this the cobbler's massage or the poor man's massage. You can just kind of give your back a sweet little rub here on the ground. And then when you're ready, send the feet long and a big full body stretch might feel good here. And then we're going to roll onto our belly. However you get there, don't need to be graceful. Flop over onto the belly. We're going to find crocodile pose. Crocodile sends both feet with the toes pointed out, away from each other, only if it's comfortable. And the forearms will stack on top of one another. So I've got one forearm is parallel to the top of the mat, and then the other forearm is right on top of it. And then my forehead is going to just gently rest on top of that. Crocodile pose gives me space to breathe and relax simultaneously. It also gives space for the hips to open up while the feet are pointed in this direction. This is the smallest of back bends that yoga has to offer. So take a moment here and breathe. Noticing the difference in your body and your breath when you're on your belly versus on your back. Not holding on to tension in the shoulders. Relaxing the shoulders. Then when you're ready, gently sliding the hands, the arms to the sides of the body and the feet to a point. The hands will be right next to the ears. And the arms are right in close to the body. To find baby cobra, we're going to lift up into sort of the second small back bend. So grounding into the feet, I like to kind of just give them a little tap to let them know they're about to do some work. And I'm also using that energy lock we talked about earlier, Uddiyana Bandha. I'm pulling the belly button into the spine, and I'm also pulling my pelvic floor up to meet that energy lock. Mula Bandha. Pushing into the earth, all 5 fingers are spread like starfish. Pushing there and lifting up just a bit so that my heart space is open just a touch, baby cobra. Small back bend. And then lowering down to the right cheek whenever you're ready. One round of breath. And inhale breath to prepare. And on the exhale breath, lifting up again to baby cobra. Not too much. Really not holding in the neck. Letting this be in your core. Use the energy lock. Then lowering back down, taking the left cheek to the mat. Inhale breath to prepare. And exhale breath. We're going to push up a little further. And come up into a full cobra if that feels good. You have 3 options. You can be in a crocodile, a baby cobra, or a full mama cobra for a nice full back bend here. And yogis, stay here as long as you'd like, or lower back down. Don't forget to breathe. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. You're going to glance up to the sky can be helpful. And then gently lowering back down to the. And then when you're ready, we're going to push back into child's pose. The counter pose to those back bends should feel really yummy. You can take a wide-legged child's pose, so both knees are spread wide on the mat. Or if you really want to round the back, keep the knees together for, I call it embryo pose. And extend the arms and let gravity just take over. If you have any shoulder issues, bring the hands to the sides. Take the shoulders out of the equation. Beautiful. You can walk the hands forward so that you're back on your belly and then just roll over to Shavasana. Or however you want to get there. But I just looked at the clock and time flies whenever I'm having fun, and I'm always having fun when I'm doing yoga. So our 45 minutes is up. So on your back, if there's any asana, any pose that you didn't do that you would like to take now, maybe happy baby, grab a hold of your big toe with your peace fingers, anything that you didn't do that you'd like to, just take that now. Or head right to a shavasana, which is complete and total relaxation. It's Sanskrit for corpse pose. So gravity should be the only thing holding you down. No tension. No muscles that are active. Only your breath. As you're breathing in all of the benefits of the time that you set aside for yourself. Just taking in the last few moments. And knowing that the peace, the calm, the love that you may be feeling right now, you can invite into your life at any time. So begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, perhaps rolling over to your right side, and then joining me in a seated position whenever you're ready. We'll take one last breath together, an intentional breath together. Just tickle the earth one last time. A generous inhale will send the arms east and west, high to the sky. Palms come together at the top. We'll leave them together in prayer. And then we'll bring them down and tuck our thumbs into our heartbeat. Yogis, please know that the light in me bows and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing yoga with me. See you next time.